Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pretend Problems Podcast. I'm Kelsey Cook.
And I'm Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline?
Kevin Kline. Isn't that his name?
Is that?
He's an actor. I think it's his name. I'm almost positive. From Dave, the movie Dave. What a wonderful... He had to pretend to be two people in this movie.
Dave. Kevin Kline. I mean, I know that name. I can't picture the person.
Okay. I'm almost positive. Now I feel stupid.
We started this like the two oldest people that have ever done a podcast. Kevin Kline?
No, I think we started like the two youngest people where you threw 1 ounce of doubt at me and my whole fucking life shattered. I'm Gen Z through and through.
Remember when I told your daughter that we were going to go see Incubus and she said, "What's Incubus?" Mm-hmm. And I wanted to walk into traffic?
Yeah.
God.
I was just at the Columbus Funny Bone.
Yeah.
And I saw a door guy that I knew from when I had just started going there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, D, what is up, man? What are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm here to get my kid. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, my oldest daughter is who is helping you sell merch. Uh-huh. I have been there through 2 generations of employees. And God damn.
Did you grab your walker and go back to the green room?
It was a tough walk home because... The guys were like, do you want us to walk you home? I don't know. Sometimes there's trouble around here. And I was like, I'll fucking take it. I will happily get snuffed out.
You're looking for trouble?
Yeah.
Well, Chad finally has his beautiful, extremely cool tour poster out. You should go check it out at that Chad Daniels on social media. ChadDaniels.com for tickets. And we thought we would whip through our tour dates again real quick.
Sure.
Because it's been a few weeks and we're just excited about the upcoming ones. So for me, the rest of the dates for this year are Providence and Dania Beach in November, and then San Antonio and Austin in December. And then I'm just going to rapid fire through these.
Do it.
Next year, Indianapolis, Spokane, Boston, Mashantucket, Connecticut, Oklahoma City, Houston, Dallas, Milwaukee, Huntington, New York, which is, I believe it's Long Island. And you and I are performing there together.
Yeah, we are.
At the Paramount Theater. And then Montclair, New Jersey at the Wellmont Theater, also where Chad and I are performing together. And Parks Casino in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
The third date where Chad and I are performing together. Then Tacoma, Portland, Atlanta, Columbus, Cincinnati, and San Diego. Tickets at kelseycook.com. That's the first half of next year's tour.
So you read 3 of yours, and they're similar on mine?
Yeah.
And then you started reading the rest, and I was like, oh, no. Because they're different. Only because I was like, what's happening here? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be in Denver and San Francisco and Sacramento in November. And I'm going to be in Salt Lake City and Las Vegas in December. Then, let's get serious because I haven't mentioned any of these. Atlanta, Portland, Oregon, Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Des Moines, Minneapolis, Dania Beach, Florida, Fargo, North Dakota, Tempe, Huntington, Montclair, and Philly. With this one.
Me.
Then I'm going to be Winnipeg, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh.
Whoop whoop.
Yep, I can't wait. I'm hitting some of these clubs for the first time in a while, so I'm looking forward to those shows, obviously.
Yeah. Kind of fun that you and I are not only doing 3 cities together, but also going to some of the same cities, but at different times.
Yeah.
So like Atlanta's getting both of us. Mm-hmm. Portland. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's some other ones, but...
Probably.
Uh-huh. Well, guys, it's been a weird week of smells. Maybe we can start there.
Okay.
Because I've been smelling some bad things in all kinds of different places across the country.
And one of them was here, the first one. I gave Poe a...
Oh, God, I completely forgot about that.
Like a bully stick, which is a bull's urethra. But this, just because I don't want him going straight ureth,
Dogs are... I just have to say, as somebody who wasn't a dog person before you, I mean, I would like to say I am an animal person, but like some of the things that you have to do as a dog owner, it's just like cats would never.
Wait a second.
Bull urethra?
I didn't have to go to the fucking bull farm and cut a dick off and hang it up, dry it out. I didn't have to do any of that.
That's even what dogs eat is so weird to me.
You know what's weird to me is that you think you don't you let your cats outside and see what they fucking bring back. You think these cats are so goddamn pristine and genteel, and they're not.
They're indoor cats. I don't want fleas.
Well, I understand not wanting fleas, but I'm just telling you, like, you think these animals wouldn't eat a urethra. I promise you they would.
That's true.
They're animals.
That's true.
So anyways, I got Po one that's fancy, right? It's like this chicken flavoring on the outside, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad too. I don't want him just a urethra. It's like, let's
get him a chicken.
It's like
urethra.
fun dip. It's like no one wants that white stick. Dip it in some grape sugar. Dip it in some lime sugar.
And some cancer.
Yes.
Fun episode.
Nobody wants this fucking white stick. So I don't want him having the white stick of dog treats, the bull urethra. And so I have it dipped in some chicken. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. It didn't work for him because he had to bark to go outside a bunch of times. He ended up, he was breathing real hard. It just didn't really work with what was, he just looked exhausted.
Didn't agree with him.
Then I think he puked. Mm-hmm. And I think he laid in his own puke, which I'm going to tell you something. Back in my drinking days, I've been there.
Haven't we all?
I've been there. Where
We've all been 21.
You wake up and you go, oh, wow, this side of my face feels very acidic. I wonder what that is. Oh, it's the stomach bile hanging off of my cheek. So he laid in his own puke, and it really got in there. So that stunk. You gave him 2 baths. I gave him a bath. And then I even had boarding give him a deep, clean bath with a blowout. And finally, he doesn't stink. Which is nice.
It was a nightmare.
It's brutal. It smells very, very bad because it just gets it's in his thick coat.
Yeah, it was one of the worst smells I've ever smelled in my life, to be honest. It was like a really rancid, like puke is one of the grossest smells you can smell, but like old puke? You don't really smell old puke very often because puke is usually something that gets cleaned up right away.
Yeah, and this is somebody with IBS who smells new shit. So old puke trumps that. And you hated the smell. We both did, of course.
Yeah, if you remember from the highly sensitive person test, one of the questions.
This fucking thing. This test. By the way, I'm going to make up a test. I'm going to make up a test, 27 questions, that says a lot of the questions are just going to be what I need in my life. What I don't like. Hey, do you hate taking the garbage out? Maybe you're a I don't know, some kind of global warming denier. I'm going to make up a test, though, and it's going to be all the shit I don't want to do on there and be like, well, that's who I am.
But my things don't make me, like, bad around the house. Like, I take the trash out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I just hate... I mean, nobody likes a bad smell. That's fair. Just really, like, puts me in a bad mood so fast. Like, I can't stand it. It has to get fixed. So... Thank God we got that figured out, but that was a whole goddamn ordeal.
And I didn't have to deal with the rest of the smells.
Yeah, that was you had to deal with one of them.
I didn't smell it.
Oh, that's right. He was right in front of me. Okay, the second one, I was flying to see my nieces, and a guy sat next to me. He started the flight, like as he's sitting down, he's on a Zoom meeting. His phone has like 10 different faces on it of all the little Zoom screens. He's headphones in, fully like talking at normal full volume in a business meeting. I'm already like, not going to like this guy. Not going to be a great row partner.
No, that's when I jump in and I help with the meeting. I just go, I can't hear you because he's hogging the AirPods. However, good to see everybody. This is Chad. Good to be on this meeting. If you just give me one of them, I'd be able to hear all your good ideas. But for now, I'm just going to have to try to read lips. It's going to be tough. You're small on his screen. But I'm going to read your lips. I'm going to give you thumbs up or thumbs down. Can you see me? Do I need to move over closer?
Oh, fuck. God, I so wish that you were me in some of these situations. Because I won't do it, but you will. So then he starts ordering whiskey doubles. And this is like a 4-hour flight. And I'm like... all right, this guy, he's just, everything he's doing, I'm like, I just feel like something's going to be happening with this person. And within, I don't know, 20 minutes of taking off, he starts farting so viciously. Just, it's like right as one would finally start to dissipate and go away, then there was just another one right after it. And it was like dusty peanut whiskey farts. Like he was eating all the different plain snacks and drinking whiskey constantly and just letting it rip. And I got to a point and I told Chad, I was like, I think you're going to be proud of me for the things I did. I fully put my sweatshirt up over my nose.
That's a great move.
Like, it didn't hide my disgust about it. I was like, fuck, dude. And then I felt a little bit like Kevin McAllister. I felt like this is something he would do. By the like fifth fart from this guy, I turned the air stream on that was above me and then aimed it directly at his crotch. I just put a very hard stream of air right at him as if to be like,
oh, I love thinking about that.
You sit in your own filth and you think about what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
Like putting a dog's nose in its own shit. Like, And I was pretty proud of it. I mean, I don't usually do stuff like that.
Eye contact?
No.
Okay.
No.
Still, you know what? A snipe is good too.
Yeah. But it was like, I mean, if you're gonna, and let me tell you something. You guys know with my IBS, I've been a plane farter before, and not wanting to, but sometimes before I kind of got my stomach figured out now. It's gotten so much better. But before then, sometimes it was like, it really felt out of my control. And it was like, these aren't going to go away. And otherwise I'm going to have to just sit in the bathroom the entire flight. And that's also going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. So I have tried to do some of that as discreetly as I can sometimes, but sometimes I couldn't. So I get it, but also it sucks to be on the receiving end. And so I just was like, we gotta do something here, my man, because you've got a case of the farts and you're not stopping it.
I do love it. Did he ever go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Did you do anything to any of his stuff?
No.
Good for you.
No.
Because that's when you get into trouble.
Yeah.
That's when you start. That's when you go like, I have a little idea here.
No.
I've got a little idea. Here's what I did. I had an idea and it backfired on me.
Okay.
There were 3 kids in a grocery store when I was in, well, there were more than 3 kids when I was in Columbus.
Excuse me. Oh my God. I just choked on a burp. Speaking of being.
This guy was farting on the plane. I love it.
That air just went right the wrong way. Okay.
So these kids were in Trader Joe's.
Okay.
And there were, first of all, 2 of them. It was great. It was a brother and sister, and they were doing the hand clapping game where you are saying stuff like 3 times 4 is 12 and bat bat beat that beat a bit boo, that kind of stuff. And then the brother, when he was supposed to be doing something else, slapped the sister in the face. It was incredible.
Oh my God.
And so I started laughing and everyone looked at me and I go, that wasn't part of it, right? And the daughter or the sister goes, no, that wasn't part of it. He does that sometimes. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then when they walked out, I was checking out and they were walking towards me. And when the boy got to me, I flinched and they had a good giggle. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Funny.
We're here to talk about 3 other kids in there that everything was like decorated with Halloween. And they're like, that's not scary. This isn't scary. And they were like looking at some of the decorations like, none of this is scary.
Oh God.
Yeah, I did.
What'd you do?
So they were like all looking at something and I went, Dah! Behind them. And 2 of them really jumped. And I go, was that scary? And then as I did it, I go, well, these are kids. And they're not mine. They're not my children. So I thought, now what you've done here is you've had kind of a funny idea, but you've taken it too far. And so that's what gets me in trouble. That's why I love when I asked you, did you do anything to his stuff? You go, no, I didn't. Because that's not what this is about.
That's going to get me kicked off a plane, maybe.
And that's when I need to be more like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just take a little bit from each other. I took a little bit out of your book to push the airstream toward his crotch. Be like, you keep that nastiness over there.
Yep.
And that's where I kept it. And then we went to the Vikings game yesterday, which is such a cool opportunity. Chad got this awesome ticket hookup, incredible seats. And if you guys have been listening to the show for a while, you know that our last time at a 49ers game didn't go super awesome because we were playing the 49ers and we had the world's most obnoxious fans right behind us who were shit-faced and kept hitting the top of my head with their arms. And I finally stood up. I took Chad's entire book for that one, actually. And I just got real upset. Mm-hmm. But this time it was going better. But there was a man in front of me who smelled like he maybe pooped his pants a little bit like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
and didn't.
Yeah, I didn't smell any of this stuff.
And didn't shower since then. And also his clothes smelled so strongly of like mildew, like musty mold, like a moldy, it was like moldy poop. And I just,
damn, I didn't get any of that stuff.
I was struggling pretty hard. And he also, just a little cherry on top, for sure had COVID. He had such a violent cough throughout the whole game, would cough it right into his hand.
Back of his hand. I got to tell you that.
Oh, I saw it right in the hand.
Oh,
many
really?
times. Many times right into the hand.
Fuck.
Cough right into his hand. We'd score a touchdown. Immediately turns to all of us right behind him, tries to go for high fives. He came this way to go for a high five for me, and I went, and I did the same thing, where then I turned to the people behind me, because I was like, bitch, if you give me COVID before I go to Europe for 2 weeks, I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Yeah, we had 2 Lions fans behind us. That's who we were playing.
Yeah.
And every time we'd score, I would turn around to them, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, we get it." And I go, "I'm not talking shit.
No.
I just don't want to high five the guy in front of me."
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, if you're super sick and you want to keep your football tickets, yeah, like, it's a free country. You can do that
Go
stuff.
for
but
it.
like, I don't want to high five you.
I don't think I have to. And one of the times we scored, and he turned around, and I was so excited I hadn't turned around yet. And so he's going for the high 10, and I go, "Oh shit, flag on the play." So then I didn't have to, but it was a defensive penalty, so we still scored. But I did, there was a flag on the ground. I go, "Can't high five you, man. Flag on the play. Sorry, dude."
This guy. And he seemed like a little off mentally, maybe, but nice. And I felt bad, because it's like, usually, you know what, yeah, we'll do some high fives, but I
think he did seem very nice.
Yeah. But as you guys listen to this, Chad and I are in Europe, so we're recording a couple episodes like a week or two in advance, and I just think when you've got something big planned that you've had planned for a long time, it's like, man, I can't risk it.
No, I hadn't thought of that, but I was told to not high five.
Well,
you said, you see that guy coughing, right? And I go, "Yep." And then you were like, "Do not high five him."
that is not what I said.
What'd you say?
None of that is what
What
I
happened?
I said, just so you know, that guy, I think, is sick. He keeps coughing a lot into his hand, so you might not want to high five him.
Oh, okay. And by the way,
like,
I had
don't high five him.
I had seen him coughing, because every time he would cough, I would blow on the back of his head
Oh yeah, that's what
to spread the COVID in front of us.
that's what you said to me. You're like, oh, I know. Every time he coughs, I've been blowing it at him.
Yeah.
I love how you're like the human jet stream on the plane. You're blowing it back at him.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah, we're out here just.
Wonder Twin powers activate in form of 2 jet streams.
And then, so aside from that, we had a great time at the game, but I drove straight to the game from the airport. Chad and his mom took a Lyft separately, because Chad and I both flew in from different cities at different times.
Yep.
And so the plan was that we would all take my car back. And so I'm like pulling up. I am just missing kickoff. I'm like frantically trying to find parking. And I go, you know what? I'm going to splurge. I'm going to get parking right by the stadium. It'll be quicker for me to get in. It'll be easier for all of us to leave. And so I spent $60 to park in this 6-level parking structure. But of course, because I was getting there like right at game time, everything is full. And so I had to go to the very, very top level, the 6th floor, where it's like outside. It's not even in the structure. Mm-hmm. And by the time we got out and got back to our car and just trying to get out of that place, it took an hour, just under.
I think maybe a little more.
Ooh, a little more than an hour.
A little more than an hour. See, what happens is, and may I go into detail?
Yeah.
So we go to the Wild game a lot. We go to the Minnesota Wild game. And I know of a parking lot that is, I'm going to say 4 to 6 blocks away from the the arena. And that's where I park. It is a one level, I believe it's a church parking lot that it's a pay lot.
I might say 6 to 8, to be honest.
And that,
I think it's more than 4.
6 to 8.
Yeah.
And that's where I park. You have to walk down the hill to get to the arena. It's kind of a cool view. And you have to walk up. Sometimes it's cold because it's hockey season. But every time we walk by this 4-story parking garage, I go, I know it probably looks like we should park here because it's closer, but it takes so long to get out of there. And when we walk to our car, we get in, make a left turn, another left turn, and we're on the highway. Because when you park on the top floor of a parking garage, do you know who gets out before you? Everybody. Even if they come 40 minutes after you're in your car, they're on a lower level. So someone, especially because Minnesota, someone lets them back into the line, and now you're even behind that person that got to take pictures with all of the Vikings and run on the field and do things for 40 minutes. So it is tough. Now, you did at one point think I was like really dogging you about that.
Yeah, well, so Chad was downstairs with his mom waiting so that they didn't have to go up the 6 floors. And so I'm like just texting with Chad, letting him know the status, because I'm like, hey, I'm not moving at all. Are things moving down there at all? And, I think sorry, by the way, I'm so burpy. Goddamn Chipotle. Guess what we had? Chipotle. I didn't get brisket, though. Hey. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I couldn't tell in text if you were getting annoyed.
Oh.
Because, of course, I felt bad. I'm like, I did this thinking that this was like I'm going the extra mile to do the considerate thing, like to try to make it what a smooth, easy breezy day for everybody. And it just totally backfired. And so I was sitting there like, oh, God, this isn't what anybody wanted.
Now, I did let you know that the effort of getting a parking spot that close to it was appreciated.
Yeah.
I think, and then I think you said like something like, well, lesson learned for next time.
Yeah.
So it is tough because you do think like, well, yeah, this is great. I'm so close. All I have to do is walk right over there.
Yeah.
But when 70,000 people are leaving a stadium,
that's crazy.
It's tough. But I did get to witness, because of this, I did get to witness the dumbest fucking person I've seen in a long time.
Whoa.
So everyone's leaving the parking ramp and they have to take a left. To the right, it's fenced off. It's barricaded off by security and whatever. There are 2 traffic cops. One is letting cars out of the garage and then occasionally letting pedestrians cross that area. Then there's another one. You take a left and there's a stoplight out of the garage, and there's a traffic cop over there.
Yeah.
There's barricades blocking the right lane. You can't take a right towards the parking garage. And this guy tries to get in, and the traffic cop goes, "What are you doing? You can't go through there." And he goes, "I need to go up the garage." He goes, "That's not an entrance. You can't go through there." And the guy doesn't listen to him, rolls his window up, goes around, and then ends up blocking traffic for a while. And he's sitting there trying to take a right. And I even go up to the window and I knock on it. I go, "What you doing, man?" And he goes, "Well, I have to." He goes, "Don't worry about it." I go, "I am worried about it. You're blocking traffic and this is going to take longer for people to get out. And I'm waiting for someone in there. So I am worried about it."
I am deeply concerned.
Yeah. And he goes, "Well, I'll just pull over then by the curb." And I go, "All right." But I go, I don't know when you're going to be able to go in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Why are you going in there?" And then he rolled his window up. And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So you texted me an hour after my mom and I, you left us to go up to the 6th floor to do this. And I text you, I see all the cars leaving, and I'm like, "Oh, all right, now I'll text her. I'll give her 5 minutes. I bet she's moving now." No. So you had never moved.
No.
An hour after you left, you texted me, "Oh no, I should have gone to the bathroom. Do you think you could come take over for me so I can go pee at Jimmy John's?" And I'm going to tell you something. I went to 10.
You were that mad at me?
I wasn't mad at you. I was frustrated. I had gotten up at 4:30 in the morning to fly to fly home from Columbus to go to this game and to make sure. Got my mom and my friend Marshall there early because we had on-field access, like all this stuff with probably an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
And so then I just was like, I wasn't mad at you at all. I was just like, I really fucking want to be home.
Yeah.
And then as I was walking up the stairs, I was like, this really isn't that big of a deal. So just so the listeners know, I'm getting way faster. I still go to town, but I'm way faster. It's like a refractory period, except instead of boners, it's calmness. So, and then as soon as I got in the car, it started moving.
Yeah.
So I'd love to take credit.
Better
But
driver.
no, it's just obviously just the time. But yeah, but what a fucking weird thing. Then we came home. And I tried pizza with cheese on it, taking a Lactaid. You had some, seemingly perfect for you. My mom loved hers. And I had some, and it just, I'm going to tell you something. It's like any time I have dairy, I've tried dairy a couple times, and it's just playing the game, do I have to shit? It just sits down there. And so, so I think I'm out. I think I'm out officially, even with Lactaid.
Oh my God. But you know what? I'm not even going to make a big deal of it.
In Paris, I'm going to obviously have to have some. And I'm just going to have to, you're just going to have to wheel me around in a wheelchair and a diaper.
Okay. I'm not going to make a big deal of it because I think that makes it harder when it's like, oh my God. It's like not drinking. You're never gonna again. It's like just a day at a time.
Sure.
And you'll just figure out how you're feeling.
Yeah.
But I thought of a middle segment.
Okay.
Would you rather walk in spilled sugar on the kitchen floor in bare feet and then like have to keep it on there and keep walking around for like an hour, or be wearing socks and walk into a wet puddle of something and have to keep walking in that for an hour?
Interesting. I'd probably walk on the sugar.
Yeah, I'd walk on the sugar too.
Yeah.
'Cause at least it's not cold. But both those things I hate so much.
It would be interesting because I would have to spend that entire hour working on my flexibility so I could lick the sugar off my feet, because that's exactly what I would do.
Your foot becomes the fun dip.
Oh, yeah. You kidding me? White stick.
Well,
That's
that
it
was
for
a quick
me.
one.
Yeah, I think
That was
I just
gonna
don't
last
like. I don't like walking around in wet socks.
Yeah, who does?
What made you think of that one? The fact that we don't have a rug outside our shower, and that's where I dried off, and then you stepped in it.
I know. I've been trying to like jump from the shower to the other rug we have to try to prevent it, but
Not me.
No.
I'm not agile enough. I just have to do it right there. And then I feel like every time you go, fuck my sock, it reminds me that we need a rug, and I'm going to go get a rug.
Actually, the thing that initially made me think of it was that there was a video on TikTok today that was like top 5 annoyances for people with ADHD. And it was, one of them was stepping in puddles or like a wet thing in socks. And I was like, yep. I was like off the charts for all 5 things. But it's a little bit like your joke where it's like, do you feel this? But it's like, I don't know anybody who like would particularly enjoy that, but
Right.
They are particularly enraging for me.
Yeah, what a weird... ADHD is like just all the shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hate it so much. It's like, hey, do you hate going outside in the dead of winter with wet hair? Yeah. Well, yeah, you dumb fuck. Of course I do.
Yeah. I know.
So dumb.
I think I do have some ADHD, but I don't think it's unmanageable. I think there are people who have it like way, way, way worse than me. I think I'm able to get through each day, but
Yeah. I mean, whatever's cooking in here is being managed just fine.
we're managing. We're both managing. Okay, so we're going to do some questions.
Let's do it.
pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com if you would like to write in. And guess what? Also, today we're going to be recording our questions episode, our full-length bonus episode for Patreon for the month.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you'd like to head over there, it's patreon.com/pretendproblems. If you've written in and you haven't heard your email read yet, there's a chance we've read it on the Patreon over there. We also do 2 mini bonus episodes every month over there. So there's just a lot of great content. If you finish this episode and you're like, oh shit, I want some more, going over there. Okay, this is titled Affection Schism. And yes, I had to look up how to pronounce the word schism before this episode because it looks like schism and it's not. I've been thinking about a specific relationship phenomenon as it displays itself in my own relationship. And I realized this morning that it would be an interesting and not so pretend problem to present to the two of you for thoughts and conversations. I wonder how many people would agree with me, or with psychological science for that matter, that in every romantic or partnered relationship, there is an affection schism. One person in that relationship has and displays more affection and may even be more in love with their partner than their partner is with them. I think the hard part about discussing or parsing out the subject is that it would seem, especially to the more affectionate of the two partners, that the schism is unfair. That the lesser affectionate and or in love partner is a lesser partner and thus a lesser person. But I think the harder truth is that we are all a product of circumstance. I think the affection schism is a lot more product of nurture than nature. That said, I couldn't help but wonder if the two of you agree with the concept of affection schism, and if you do, whether or not you've thought about where each other is on that scale. And if you have thought about it, and maybe even talked about it, how you react to those realities, and if necessary, how you work to compromise in the relationship to try to balance the scales a bit. Big fan of you both. Keep up the great work. You're welcome to use my name and even mention the name of my podcast. No pressure on that second one. This is from Adam, and their podcast is called Heart Songs. If anybody would like to check it out.
Yeah, nice.
So when I read this, the thing that I think Chad and I talk about more is like love language stuff. Like how we show love to each other. Not necessarily like the levels of love we have for each other. I feel, sorry, Mia's like right in your face.
My love language is, well,
cat allergies?
No, I was going to say.
Is
Not
when somebody
throwing your cat off of me. Hey.
It's our cat.
Bro.
Is your love language when somebody brings 2 animals that you're allergic to into the house? I'm sorry. She just loves you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, it's like, it's really adorable. But
yeah, it's fucking adorable.
You can tell the affection schism between Mia and Chad is
shit.
really imbalanced.
Yeah, one of us definitely loves the other more. Hey, come on, bro.
Okay, Mia, you got to get down. Okay. So I feel very, very lucky in our relationship that I feel like we love each other equally, which I feel like is a pretty rare thing to find.
I think I should have gone first. I'm totally kidding.
Oh my God.
No, that's like Love is Blind.
Did you hear the sound of my heart shattering through the microphone?
Oh, fuck. I think we're going to have a very similar answer.
Yeah.
But that's sometimes on Love is Blind that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're like, oh, fuck, I should have gone first.
Oh, my God. Well, especially in the reveal.
Yeah.
There's a very funny TikTok spoof out right now where it's like the reveal. And there's always one person that's like, hi. And they're like hugging the person, like leaning back. And the other person's like, oh, my God, you're the first of my dreams. And the other person's like, okay.
You sounded different.
You're not what I thought you'd look like.
You sounded taller.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible person.
But yeah, so Chad and I mean, you've heard us talk about it on the show before about love language stuff where I'm more of a like tell him, but I've gotten a lot better at acts of service, I think. I'm usually very like words of affirmation, physical touch. I'm a real big cuddler and big saying mushy things person. But you're good. Oh, okay. If you're watching on YouTube, Chad is truly being smothered by Mia.
Yeah, pose the problem.
Oh. I mean, this actually might be a funny clip.
No, it isn't.
It's just ironic. We're talking about affection schism, and it's her, like you two are Love is Blinding right now. This is the reveal. She's all over you, and you're leaning back away from the hug.
It's fucking insane, the shit she puts me through. She never does this to you.
Because she loves you so much.
No, because I'm not allergic to her.
She climbs up on me like that. Anyway. Okay, no, you talk. I've been talking a lot.
Here's what I think. I think that one person can be way more affectionate. I don't know that it means the other person doesn't love them as much.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that two people can love each other equally and one person just show it way more. Is that what you said?
Well,
mother of fuck, dude. Oh my God, stop with your tail. Well, that's a bit much.
I know, I'm sorry. You can put her down over there if you want. Not to sleep. Don't put her down in terms of euthanizing. Just set her on the ground. Anyway, yeah, I think, I'm trying to remember exactly how you said what you just said. I just think the ways people show love can be different, but I don't think that the ways they show it means that one is more or less. I think it's just different ways. But
right. Like
yeah.
Fiddler on the Roof. Right. Clearly they're showing each other love in different ways to the point where one of the songs is, "Tell me, do you love me?"
Yeah.
They have to actually ask that question.
Or the classic, "I'm having fun. Are you having fun?"
Yeah, little remix. I love it. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think, have we talked about it? I don't think we ever have, because I don't think anyone feels like one is doing more loving.
No, we've never felt that way. I think our conversations have been more like, oh,
please do stuff.
Please do stuff.
I don't need compliments. I need you to do stuff.
And I'm like, can you please use your words more?
Yeah. Thanks for taking out the garbage, but while you're doing it, could you think of a compliment for me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And I think we've both gotten better on both things.
That's my answer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Heart songs.
Heart songs. Thank you for writing in. That's a good question.
That was.
Huge fan and pretend but real problem. Interesting. Hi, Kelsey and Chad. I'm a huge fan of the pod and found Kelsey on the Self-Helpless podcast with Taylor.
Heck yeah.
Thank you.
That's old school.
Yes, I've since watched Chad's specials and love him too.
Well, thank you.
I'm super curious about your sobriety and was hoping to get more insight. Wondering if you two felt that alcohol was playing too big of a role in your relationship or if you just made the choice to stop drinking. I found that after my dad died unexpectedly when I was 25, I started drinking more frequently. I got to the point when I felt like I should stop drinking, but it was never an actual problem for me or anyone else, so I didn't address it. Eventually, my husband and I had to do IVF, and I obviously stopped drinking during the process. And for the couple years after, our daughter was born, but now I feel like I could easily fall back in the trap of drinking too much and feeling like shit. I guess my question is, why and how did you stop drinking, and what advice could you give to someone who could benefit from not recreationally drinking? I have to say I'm more like Chad in the sarcastic responses, but I would honestly like some feedback because I really don't know what to do and want to be the best for my daughter. Thanks for everything you do. Oh, that's a nice email. And I'm so sorry about the loss of your dad.
Yeah. No kidding. So
you want to go?
Yeah, I think that if you are saying the phrase, "I just want what's best for my daughter," then maybe you drinking is not that. And so I would say don't do it. I know I'm not being sarcastic because you're looking for a real answer. That's my answer. Am I going to drink again? I don't know. I love sleeping a whole bunch. However, I do think we're going to go to Europe. I'm not going to drink. We've already looked at options for that. And, but my mom and I are scheduling a trip to go to Germany. It has been her dream her whole life to go to Germany because, her grandpa is like off the boat from Germany. And so she wants to go there, and we had a trip planned, and like all that, and it fell through. We were going to go on a riverboat cruise because my mom likes the idea of different stops and all that stuff. And then for the first time in 40 years, they had a drought, and the river got so low that the boats couldn't pass through, so we couldn't go. Then COVID hit, and then laziness hit. So we're going to go next year, and I think if my mom. Yesterday after the game, we got pizza, and my mom goes, "Do you have any beer at the house?" And I go, "Yeah, it's warm though."
Yeah. And
I go, "We have some wine." And she goes, No, beer with pizza. Like my mom just likes that. She's set in her ways about certain things. And so if we were over there and it was close enough to Oktoberfest, or there were like festivities with that stuff, because we will be going in September, and that's when Oktoberfest is, weirdly. If she wanted to have a beer with me there, I think I would. I think I probably would.
Yeah.
I think I told you that. I was like, there's no real reason for me not to drink other than, I just feel so much better when I don't.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a reason to never do it again. I thought that your friend that was visiting said something really interesting. We ordered dessert at dinner, and I go, no, I shouldn't, because I had been 2.5 months of this no dairy, no eggs thing, and then I was supposed to go 3 months.
Yeah.
And you were kind of like, yeah, but I think like 2 months is actually the thing.
Well, I was saying 2.5. I'm like, I don't know that a scientist has gone, okay, at 2.5, it's still not long. Like, I do think once you get to that window, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
But.
And then your friend goes, I go, no, I probably shouldn't. And she goes, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you want people at your wake to be going, oh, he was so strong, he didn't have dairy for all 3 months. And that kind of hit me like, oh, yeah. I am. I mean, I'm not like at an age where I'm worried about dying in my sleep right now, but I'm at an age where it's like, fuck, I should probably, if I want a piece of cake, should probably have one. And if I want a beer with my mom in Germany, I should have one and not worry about it and not be like, I can't have one because of this. Nothing. If I have a beer, I promise you the next day I'm not going to want another beer. So it's not an addiction thing. It was just a sleep thing for me.
Yeah. And that was the same for me too. It was like, sleep and anxiety. It just, like, the older you get, your priorities change. And now that we've both been sober for a little over 6 months, you do really go like, what is out there that would be worth feeling like shit the next day for? Because we've gone to concerts, we've gone to a wedding, we've done these things that usually we would drink at, and we didn't, and had a great time and felt great the next day. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I would ask you, what are the reasons you want to drink?
Yeah.
I understand drinking when your dad passes, for sure. I would say probably in the last 10 years, I have drank because there was a problem. And I'm not like trying to pat myself on the back. I'm just saying, like, I don't think I have whatever it is that makes you want to drink. Normally when I have a problem, that's when I don't want to drink, because I want to make sure my head's on correctly. So I would ask yourself that. Again, my whole answer for you is, if you are saying you want what's best for your daughter in this email, I don't think drinking is what's best. You drinking is what's best for your daughter. Yeah,
I agree. And you ask if we felt like it was playing too big of a role in our relationship, or if we just made the choice to stop drinking. It wasn't playing a big role in our relationship, but I also think that it's really healthy for a relationship to try being sober together, because that's reality. That's real life, is like day to day, being together, like not, like when what was it? It was like a bowling and bocce ball place.
Okay.
This was a while, you remember, a while back. And we were drinking, and I didn't have that much, but it was like, I could feel myself becoming kind of like buzzed, tipsy, but I just was like, I didn't feel good, and I felt like I was just being kind of weird, and I was like, this would have been so much fun without alcohol, and now I don't even feel like myself, and then I don't feel like I get to connect to you in a like real way, because I'm feeling like this different version of me.
And you are going to have to put up with going and doing some of that stuff, and the server comes over and goes, what can I get you to drink? And you go, water. And then you're going to get some eye rolls, because they're there for tips. They're not there for, you to sleep well. Yeah. They're there to make money. So you're going to have to deal with that. And, sometimes I'll throw a server like just some extra cash, even if it's for waters, because it's like you're taking up a table or whatever it is. So yeah. I don't know if you need it. Yeah.
I've really enjoyed how much fun we've had the last 6 months without any alcohol together. Like, I just think that's it's like a good, like I didn't feel that we needed it, but it's a nice, what's the word I'm looking for? Like marker of like, oh yeah, like we have such a good time together and we don't need alcohol to have fun.
Yeah. And I have a friend whose spouse stopped drinking and then they stopped drinking to kind of match it, and they are divorced.
Really?
Yep.
See, but that's what I mean.
Sobriety changed the spouse probably for the better.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not for me to say if it's better or worse, but just changed them in a way that was they were no longer compatible.
Yeah. See, and that's like, I mean, you're not asking anything about your relationship, but I think for anybody listening, it is a really good kind of like reality check of, are you with somebody that you can have a great time with sober? Because life hopefully is long. And if you feel like when you go out to dinner or go do an activity together that like you kind of are like, oh yeah, we should, because there's part of you that's like, I'm bored, or like,
how am I going to get through this?
Like, is this really going to be that fun? If we're not, like, maybe just be aware of that. Because, I mean, you can drink your whole life and do that. And it's a lot of people do. And that is totally fine. I'm just saying, I've liked the feeling of how it's been to be sober and be sober together.
Yeah, me too.
So, thanks for that email. That was really nice. Let's do one more and then we'll do our Patreon questions episode. Great. So this says, follow up on female comedian question / comedy industry question. Hi, Kelsey and Chad. I just had a few questions based off of last week's female comedian recommendations. When you all started naming female comedians, I went back and wrote every one of the names down. Oh my God, that was a long list.
Yeah, good.
I popped over to Apple Music to find as many of them as I could. What I discovered is about 1/3 had nothing available, 1/3 had one album from 5+ years ago, and a few ones off of JFL tracks, and 1/3 had plenty on there. In your opinion, is this because female comedians don't get enough credit, or is this just an all-over thing with stand-up industry? Like recording an album and having it stream is just not worth the time and money. I know streaming albums isn't a huge money maker for comedians, but I wish there was a streaming service solely dedicated to stand-up. Sometimes it's hard to justify paying $10 for a comedy album of a comedian you're not familiar with yet. Do you think an all comedy all the time streaming service would work, or is the comedy industry just too fragmented to pull that off? Love everything you do, Andy. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, thanks.
Well,
Andy.
there is, but you do have to pay for it because it's on SiriusXM. But there are comedy channels, many ones on
also
Sirius.
Pandora is.
Pandora's free.
Free.
I think so. Yeah.
And they have comedy all over the place on Pandora. So
yeah.
And they have it on Spotify. I don't know if that's free. I don't know how that works.
Did they pull that?
I'm 100.
They might have pulled that because Spotify did that with the Pandora thing. They pulled it all off, but maybe it's back on. I don't know.
Or if you do have Apple Music, you can play all those for free as well. I don't know how much Apple Music costs, but yeah I mean Pandora. And then I'm going to step aside for the question about what we think about these comedians not having a bunch out there. I mean, I would imagine it's because they haven't put them out. I don't think anyone's going, this bitch.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put this on here. But I don't know, so I'm gonna pass that to you.
Well, here's the hard thing. You're looking on Apple Music, and I will say I feel like comedy albums are becoming like a dying breed. It's become so much more video focused and like a special focused, which I know you can just rip the audio off of that and put it out as an album. And I do think a lot of people still do that, but I think if you take that list of names that you wrote down from the episode and put them in on YouTube, you're going to find a bunch of comedy stuff. Or even if you go find them all on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, those people we mentioned are people who are putting out content. They are putting out videos and jokes and all of that. So it might just not be in the format that it sounds like you're used to listening to them in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But Wendy Liebman, I don't know what she has out.
Oh,
because when I was watching Wendy Liebman, it was all television appearances, but like old school shit, like MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour and stuff. The A-List on that might have been MTV too. I can't remember, but
okay. But yeah, I hope that you can find some other stuff. All right, guys, we're going to record a full-length questions episode. So patreon.com/pretendproblems if you want to head on over and listen to more questions and answers.
You got it.
All right. Bye-bye.